Hey everyone, and welcome back here to Tournament Central on the Disc Golf Network as we continue to bring you coverage of Moving Day out at the Preserve Championship, powered by Prodigy out in Clearwater, Minnesota. Of course, the action has wrapped up for the day for FPO, but now our MPO division is making their journeys down the fairways of the Black Bear course, with several cars already underway and our chase and lead card about to kick off here. But before we do that, you get to listen to us talk first, because that's the way it works. And the first thing we got to talk about, Brian, is we got to talk about Ricky Wysocki. Of course, we teased Ricky earlier this morning during our segment on FPO, where he shot a scorcher of a round after a bumpy start, didn't card a single par, but went on to hit 11 birdies in a row through holes through 7 through 11. Got the eagle on 18 to go 15 under par. We got to hear from him after that incredible round. Let's kick it over to Ricky.
For me, it's like when you get a bogey early on in the round, it looking back, it sucks at the time, but it kind of motivated me to get better and throw better shots throughout the rest of the round. So I think that you always hear people saying, oh, I started off with a bogey and I had my best round ever. And so I kind of think that that's what I did. Start off with 2 really stupid bogeys on the front 9, and then just I knew I had to get hot to get myself in position where I want to be. My wrist is like actually not feeling great at all, and it's a couple of those shots the drives where I got bogeys, my body was compensating. My brain and my wrist aren't on the same page because I just got tons of inflammation. But yeah, I just felt like, I had it under control enough to where I could throw the shots, and I didn't throw anything out of my control. And I think that the little wrist inflammation allowed me just to play within my game, and that's all I need to do if I want to win. If I have a chance to shoot another great round, I'm going to obviously take full advantage of it. But I heard Gannon, it's all about closing rounds, and I think out here that's super important with the par 5 to finish. And I think that's for me, that's going to be something that's in my head. I think if I finish out and shoot 11, 12, 13 under a couple rounds, to finish, I like my chances. So yeah, I feel like I'm in control of my game, and I feel like I'm in control of my emotions, and that's where I feel like I play my best.
And again, health complications have been a factor for Ricky this season. He even had to take a break kind of midway through the season due to some inflammation issues, which he mentioned in that interview with his wrist. But that didn't slow him down at all yesterday, it seems like, Brian, as he was 91% hitting the fairways, 89% at finding circle in regulation, and 100% in C1X to go on to shoot a scorch over round at 15 under par, the new course record, topping that of James Conrad, who shot 13 under very early on in the day. Of course, Brian, you were following this card yesterday as it was our featured group, and what was it like? What was the atmosphere out there as Ricky was just seemingly electric all day?
Well, number one, the crowd was feeling it too. They saw Ricky in his true form, in that flow state, and he was just playing phenomenal disc golf. I think the big thing for Ricky is it's day-to-day for him. He said during that post-round interview he did not feel good. His wrist felt terrible. And he could wake up this morning with even more inflammation than he had yesterday. I know he put so much work in to staying recovered, staying healthy, at least the most that he possibly can. But here he is coming into today after playing a lot of disc golf, a lot of good disc golf yesterday. And he has to find that flow state again, and he has to do it in a new way.
Indeed he does, because he is going to be challenged by a player in the form of James Conrad, who shot a 13 under par. Around that would sit as the hot round of the day all the way up until Ricky put the eagle in on hole 18 to close out at 15 under par. James went bogey free on the day, only missing out on scoring on 2 holes on the hole 7 through 18 stretch, carding 9 birdies and an eagle along the way. I would say, Brian, that so far James has had a bit of an up and down season. I think it's a fair assessment. He had some top 5 finishes at Jonesboro and Zootown, and 6th at Waco, 11th at Champions Cup in Portland, but he's also missed cash at a couple of events, including last week at Des Moines, and also struggled a little bit at the Blue Ridge Championship and the OTB Open. Is this 13 under par the type of round that can fuel a bit of a comeback from Conrad, I guess you could say, compared to last week?
I mean, yeah, of course. I don't think James even remembers last week. I mean, he is the kind of guy that stays extremely present. He's just week to week, and if he's feeling good this week, he's going to shoot really well. If he's not feeling good, he's probably not going to shoot that well. James Conrad has the ceiling of all great champions in our sport. However, a course like this out here at the Preserve, anybody can shoot well at, and James came out firing, and I think he's going to give us a really solid show today.
Yeah, it is going to be interesting to see those two battle it out with the rest of the lead card later on today, and we'll certainly talk more about that lead card in a moment. But first, we're going to have to kind of give you a little bit of an update on what's going on across the pond in the Swedish Open. We talked about FPO earlier. Now we got to talk MPO. But first, we got to cut to a short break. We'll be right back.
What's up, everybody? My name's Kevin Jones, and the brand new disc to my lineup is the Feedback. The Feedback is a stable fairway driver, so it's going to be pretty straight out of your hand and then has a nice dependent finish to the left at the end. One of the great things about the Feedback is that it's for all skill levels. I'm really excited about this new disc in my lineup. Go check it out at prodigydisc.com.
What makes the Halal Guys so deliciously different? You might have heard of our famously long cart lines that NYC fans happily stand in. Today, with over 100 plus restaurants across the globe, we are your place to experience authentic American halal. Enjoy our delicious falafel, Euro sandwich, platters, and sides topped with our famously flavorful white and hot sauces. Order online today and taste how we make different so delicious. The Halal Guys, bringing something deliciously different to the table.
All right, folks, and let's kick it on over to some action over at the Swedish Open as those Niklas Antila and Macbeth doing battle all day long. We had Antila nearly acing hole 11. In fact, he had two near aces on the round as he had one come close on hole 17, wound up parking it. That gave him a 3-stroke lead. Niklas is 18 down entering the final day. Of course, we have Paul Macbeth kind of trailing right behind him, and we did get to hear from Paul Macbeth at the end of the round as we, again, show you that near ace from Antila on 17 first as it skips right into the bottom of the basket. Again, he has the lead, but Paul on his heels, and here are some words from Macbeth after the round.
For the first time in a long time, I felt like a really good battle. I felt like I was battling out there because Dennis and Niklas were, I think, 6 strokes ahead of me at one point, maybe 7. So to get it within 3 was definitely a fight that was enjoyable. Like I said, it's the first time in a long time it's felt that way, and I had fun out there. Even though I did lose some strokes at the end, I feel like I was making up ground the whole back nine.
So that is your update from Europe. But now let's kick it back over to our talk on this Preserve Championship. Brian, yesterday we had Heimburg shooting a 10 under par thanks to a hot start and a strong finish. It puts him in a 10-way tie that we have for 4th place. It's quite the log jam there, I guess you could say. Is going to be placing him on the chase card today. Of course, he is our #1 player in the world, in most people's eyes and officially in the DGP standings and in the UDIS World Rankings. He's top 5 in almost every metric. He's already gotten a couple of wins this season. He's finished top 10 or better in 12 of the 13 events he's played, and he definitely seems to be on that pace yet again here out in Minnesota. What can you tell me about, what you're expecting from Calvin Heimburg throughout the rest of this tournament?
I love that a 10 under par clean round is an average round for him that he wasn't entirely satisfied with. So I can only imagine what he's going to bring into today. Whenever he gets in those situations where he feels like he's falling behind, he always seems to come back with something spectacular. And today, I think we could see that from Calvin. The wind has picked up just a tiny bit. I actually think that plays to his advantage. He doesn't need to go for shots with a lot of height underneath them. He likes to throw pretty consistent shots, pretty neutral stability discs. If he needs to club up to something more overstable, he can, and just change the release angle just a tiny bit. Today's going to be a good day for Calvin if he can pick his spots on the green and make those shorter putts.
Yeah, I mean, certainly Calvin Heimburg is just a guy who is consistent. He's got a well-rounded game. Again, we talked yesterday. In my opinion, I felt like his forehand has even shined a little bit more this year. Certainly has looked more powerful. I think you kind of mentioned that was more due to just confidence and being willing to break it out more in tournament play, and those reps are just fueling him even further. And this is, of course, a course that really allows for that to benefit him. You know, when it goes to the putting situation, I believe that might be one of the only metrics he doesn't sit in the top 5 in. Is there something in particular that you're noticing that he might need to adjust, or is it more of just like a mental thing that he needs to kind of just get right?
He has one of the most pure push putts that I've ever seen. He almost is the poster child for a real, genuine push putt. So sometimes in the wind, you don't necessarily get that pure pop out of the hand that a spin putt would have. So he does have to pick his spots a little bit more wisely to find those favorable wind conditions. But that's to say, this is a guy that I've seen hit 70-foot standing push putts into slight headwinds. So he's one of the best players that we've ever seen in disc golf. So I'm not going to tell him to adjust anything.
I hear you, man. That's a fair point. It's working for him so far. You know, don't fix what's not broken, as we did indeed get to hear a little bit from Heimburg yesterday after his round. Let's kick it over to him.
I didn't feel like I threw great. Left myself with a lot of putts, you know, kind of in that 40 to 45 range, and just wasn't making enough of them. So, yeah, definitely need to clean up throwing the disc, but, yeah, it was definitely kind of a strange round to watch. I don't think there's really anything to go do on the driving range, just need to buckle down a little and, focus a little more and put some shots a little closer so I give myself some easier opportunities for birdie.
And that was great hearing from Heimburg as he continues to show his consistency. We'll talk about another player who's been having a fantastic season so far and a great day yesterday. That's James Proctor after the break.
Join the Paul Macbeth Foundation's Builders Club to help bring sustainable disc golf experiences to people and communities around the world. For a small monthly donation, you can help us make a real impact. Your donation will go directly to making a difference. By becoming a monthly subscriber, you'll also receive exclusive updates on our work, special offers, and discounts. So join us today and make a difference with the Paul Macbeth Foundation. Together we can make a big impact, one small donation at a time.
All right, folks, and we're back here at Tournament Central as a few more players need to talk about in the MPO division who find themselves at 10 under par and still very much in contention in what has been kind of a traffic jam tie for fourth heading into moving day. One of those players that we really would like to highlight as a player who's really been having a fantastic season, in my opinion, Brian, and I think that's James Proctor. Of course, he shot the 10 under par with an incredible back nine to join our chase car for the second round. He has had a podium finish at the Open at Austin, some top 5 finishes at Texas State's in Portland, several top 10s along the way, including 2 sixth-place finishes at OTB and the Music City Open. What can you tell me about James Proctor? Because I feel like he's someone that everyone has known for quite some time is an incredible player, but he's just never really had that moment where he could fully commit to tour. And this is the year that he finally decided to give that a chance and roll the dice, and it seems like it is paying off big time, Brian.
Well, I feel like every region seems to have their hidden boss, so to speak, that not many people know about, and then all of a sudden they hop onto the scene and everyone goes, oh yeah, I remember this guy. He's been good all along, and Proctor is that guy, and he has been all year since he joined the Disc Golf Pro Tour officially full-time. So I don't think the players are surprised at how well he's doing. I think he is just very pleased to be out here and given the opportunity to commit his whole life to this game. And yeah, he has everything. He's got the nice forehand, he's got the power backhand, he's got the flex, he's got the hyzer flip, he's got the touch. I mean, he's got an elite skill set. He's got a fantastic circle 2 putt paired with a great circle 1 putt. I mean, this is just the full package in a player, and I think there's a lot of people out there still like James Proctor that are just waiting for their opportunity to come out here and test their skills.
I mean, it's just incredible, honestly. I mean, he comes in first year fully touring, also comes in with a new bag with a bunch of new sponsors. So I think that was obviously a big thing he had to work on during the offseason. He's currently 5th right now in the DGTP standing, so he's definitely well on his way to the playoffs and perhaps even getting some buys along the way. He's 16th in UDIS World Rankings. He is in the top 10 for birdie percentage on the season, Brian. He's also 2nd in C1X putting at 90%, holding that number throughout an entire season. I mean, that is pretty incredible stuff. How far up the world rankings do you think a guy like James Proctor can jump? Again, currently he's 16th according to UDIS, but obviously everyone kind of has their own world ranking. Where do you think he stands, and where do you think he can, jump onwards to?
I could see James within another season playing a lot of these top courses again, jumping into the top 10 easily. He has that full skill set. He's in great shape. He's going to be durable throughout the course of a season, which is a very important thing these days on the Disc Golf Pro Tour. I think he just needs experience winning. I think he needs to put himself in more situations where he is in contention to win, and then he can eventually take down that one victory that gives him that big boost of confidence to believe, I do belong here. So I think it's just around the corner for James.
I know he had kind of a detour on the Swedish Disc Golf Pro Tour and actually did win an event there when he was taking a trip up there. So a victory under his belt, but doesn't have that Disc Golf Pro Tour victory yet, but has certainly been very near it multiple times this season and is in the running yet again here at the Preserve. Another player that's kind of sitting right next to him, again, there's a lot of players in this 10 under par position, is going to be Garrett Gurthie. He's had a few events this season where he's placed in or near the top 10. However, he is on pace to have his best finish of the season. If he can keep this up, as you can see there on the leaderboard, he is in that tie for 4th. We did get the chance to hear from him a little bit at the end of his round yesterday, so let's hear what Garrett had to say.
It's been a while since I put myself in these shoes to give it a chance, and James Conrad with an impressive 13 under today. I think that's rocking it pretty hard. So 10 under, I'll take it in the conditions we were in today. And I was able to score finally and make some solid putts. Yeah, I kept all the shots in bounds. On the par 5, I had an eagle opportunity. I chose to just lay up and keep plucking away on the birdies, and one thing led to another. I was just keeping them all solid and giving myself a chance at an opportunity, and I took advantage of that.
And there's some words from Garrett. Again, a very powerful thrower, of course. Had a really strong finish to his round yesterday. Those 2 birdies and then the eagle on 18, which was kind of a common trend, I think, that we saw through most of the players sitting in the top 4. But I'm just kind of curious, what do you think Garrett's chances are on pushing this even further? Again, he's had a couple of solid finishes on tour this season, but he hasn't really been able to hit the top 5 or find the podium. What do you see, from him at the Preserve? Like, what is it going to take for him to be able to take that next step here?
Yeah, for him, it's always the putt. I mean, once the short game comes together, it's game over. I mean, he's one of the best throwers that we've ever seen, and he's proven that he's got power. That's been elite for decades, and then obviously the touch that a lot of people don't talk about enough. So just as long as he can get the disc in the basket and give himself favorable lies in regards to wind, I think he has a very good chance of taking it down. I think he is a champion on the tour. He knows what it takes to win. And I think really that's all that matters, is just tap into that experience, find the mindset where you can just let go and just trust all the years that you spent owning your craft in this game.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a really fair point. As you said, the putt has been something that, has kind of troubled in the past, but he actually did have a pretty good performance on the putting green yesterday. I want to say he went somewhere near 85% from C1X and, had a couple of Circle 2 putts that also were in the running. So it seems like he has been able to, put a little bit of work into that and find success with it yesterday. And we hope that he can, of course, continue to do the same, as, again, I think this is a course that's very attackable for him. But I just kind of wonder, the 5-stroke lead that Ricky is, how hard is that going to be to catch in the conditions that we have going on today?
We have 36 more holes of golf, and you very easily can not shoot 15 under par during the second round. We could very easily see that switch. Someone could shoot a 10 under, and Garrett could very easily shoot a 15. This is a course that Aaron Gossage yesterday told me he doesn't think 18 under par is out of the question here. So this is just going to be a sprint to the finish. We have 2 more rounds left. Anything can happen.
Speaking of anything can happen, look at that board right now. Chandler Kramer is 12 down through 16 holes. So apparently it's still very scoreable out there today, despite I know that the winds have picked up a little bit for FPO this morning, and there has been some gusts coming through as well that maybe give some players a little bit of tricky situations at times, but certainly it's looking like our cards are already out on the course, are doing pretty well. Now, we do have another player that we want to talk about in a moment, and that's going to be Luke Taylor, a name that maybe you don't know too much about, but we'd like to introduce you to him a little bit more when we come back from this next break.
Prodigy has finally launched the Team Prodigy Player Store.
It's got hand-picked discs.
You're also going to find some sweet apparel.
All the discs I've chosen are my favorite discs.
Be sure to go check it out and keeps us on the road.
There's something about sand that reminds us of ourselves. What were once great stones have been ground down over years and years into something so small. But sand also shows us that everything we do matters, and that together, even our smallest actions can create great dunes. Because little by little, a little becomes a lot.
I was like, I could do no wrong on the back nine. It felt like, especially in the last 6 holes, I was like just throwing the disc very well and giving myself opportunities to score.
6 under par on the last 5 holes with an eagle to finish the round. The rest of the competitors in the top 3 also eagled that final hole. Is that part of your game plan going into that last stretch?
Yeah, I can throw pretty far, I'd like to think. So I walk up to that hole and I'm like 942 feet. Let's just put this in a position where I can attack the pin in 2. And today it just worked. I was a little out of position, but threw a good enough shot to give myself a look at an eagle, and I made the putt. So.
And there were some words from Luke Taylor. Again, he's a player that you might not have heard of before, but he's certainly one that is on the come up. He actually is the 2021 Junior World Champion, and he went pro very shortly afterwards, out of Shepherd, Michigan. He is currently 93rd in the Statmando official rankings. He is a guy whose best elite finish thus far was in 11th place at the Preserve Championship at 22 under par. I know he's also done really well the last couple of years at the Music City Open. One year, I believe, he finished in the top 10, and I think this year he finished 16th. So he's not someone who's gotten to play a lot of Disc Golf Pro Tour events, but he is someone who, when he's gotten the chance, he has been able to create some sparks here and there. Obviously, he's 12 under par right now, only 3 strokes off the lead, and had one of the best back nines of any player yesterday. Really did well on the harder part of the course to put himself in a great position, and he's on pace to have his best Pro Tour finish ever if he can keep it up. What are your thoughts on someone like Luke Taylor, such a young guy who's been able to come into a really big tournament with a very stacked field and is putting up a score like this?
It just shows you how much talent there is out there. I mean, please give us all the young talent we can find. I cannot wait to see how he plays in front of the gallery, in front of the cameras. I think Luke Taylor is a great player. I've actually seen him throw over the years. He has a really beautiful backhand throw. And again, it's just this new generation of players that have had so much to study, whereas some of the older generations of players didn't really have that. So now he has the complete skill set. And notching top 10 finishes at events like the Music City Open, as a kid, essentially, that's impressive. And to me, that says he has the potential to shoot well anywhere right now. I mean, being from Michigan, there's a great variety of disc golf all around the area. If you want woods golf, there's woods golf. If you want long open golf, there's long open golf. So I think he's going to come out here and surprise us today. And I think we could really see what he's made of now playing in front of the gallery.
Yeah, I mean, I think Parker Welk proved to all of us at Dynamic Disc Open that you can't count any of these kind of newer players to tour out. If they have the talent, if they can put it together at the right time, they can certainly make a splash. And Luke Taylor will hope to achieve maybe the same thing that Welk did just a couple of weeks ago at DDL. But again, he's got some stiff competition ahead of him. You know, you got 3 strokes ahead is Ricky Wysocki. James Conrad is a stroke ahead of him. We're seeing some players put some hot scores out on the course already. Again, Chandler Kramer jumping up quite a lot of spots, 12 down through 17 is kind of the highlight. Gavin Babcock also putting up some good scores. And we're really seeing a lot of players make opportunities happen out there, and I'm sure our Chase and Lee Card are going to be no different here on moving day. As, of course, Brian Earhart, we're going to bid you adieu for now, but, of course, we'll get to hear from him throughout the day out on the course, as we'll be taking one more break, and then we will have MPO action right at you coming from the commentary booth out in Clearwater, Minnesota. Thanks so much for tuning in to Tournament Central, and we'll see you after the round.
Introducing the F9, Prodigy's most understable fairway driver. The F9 is designed for beginners and lower arm speeds to get maximum distance, full flex flights, and effortless hyzer flips. A narrow rim makes it easy to grip for smaller hands. The F9, coming soon to prodigydisc.com.
You want to play through?
It's parked.